Hello there, Elizabeth.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's going on in your life today?
Wow. Well, I guess I'm having Groundhog Day again.
What happened?
I called them back in April, and I'm been married for 10 years to a gambling addict, and I called in to you guys, and that's what we decided. It's Groundhog Day, pretty much trying all these different things over and over again, and no matter what, the same thing happens.
How's he doing with his gambling?
He's still gambling, still in denial. I mean, you guys told me to do the bold move, and pretty much kick him out, which is not an option. So I left for 6 weeks and came back, and still he doesn't need help. It's all me. So, I mean, long story short, I'm to the point of just accepting it. I have to. And trying to move on, and then get to the point where I can calm down, choose to forgive, even though my feelings aren't here yet. I'm choosing to and trying to work through it. And then...
Accept what and forgive what?
Forgive the fact that I'm getting ready to lose my house and my children are scattered and the home's destroyed, and that he holds the key for being able to, if he could get help, then it wouldn't all be going away.
So, man, I think you're really confused here.
Oh, I am confused.
Yeah.
Because wait, it gets better, okay? Because I'm at least accepting that, okay? And pretty much just deciding I have to move on because he's not going to get the help he needs. I have to do this. And I'm to the point of accepting it, but then I find out that he has to get his kidney out tomorrow morning. So I had to, hurry up and put it all aside. Everybody says you got to be there for him, put it aside, get calm so you could be there for him. And I got to that point 2 days ago where I could just forgive, not forget, but just choose to forgive. Don't keep holding it, don't keep beating a dead horse. Just put it aside because we've got to get through this. And I was to that point, and then yesterday evening I find out what I believe, that he's been having an emotional affair for 7 years with his boss. So now I'm trying to process this again, and it's Groundhog Day again. It's blown up again.
You know what? Okay.
And we're supposed to be at the hospital tomorrow at 5.
There are a lot of things I could address. I want to take one little...
I know, thank you, because I can't think straight right
okay.
now.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, this is really tough, but I don't know of too many people that have 7-year emotional affairs. Mm-hmm. I don't know that an affair stays emotional for 7 years.
Well, he's been working with her for 7 years.
Well, but I'm just saying there's a good chance it's not
she's
just...
like family and like his mother, but come to find out he's the same age as her, and
Right.
Ironically, he always accuses me of being like his mother, but I'm like the mean mother, and she's like the nice mother.
Well, I'm just saying it might have gone beyond emotional affair.
I don't know, yeah, I know.
After 7 years. So I'm...
And he has, on the internet, I believe he has signed up for sites to have sex with people on the internet too.
Elizabeth, Elizabeth, what's your question for us today?
How am I supposed to? I asked, the stuff about the emotional affair came up. I asked him about it. He gets defensive. A big explosion like always. And then he tells me he doesn't want me to go to the surgery with him tomorrow morning, and that he's going to put a sign on the door that says he doesn't want me to go in there. And now he's saying he's okay with it. And my question is, how am I supposed to all of a sudden have a crash course in total forgiveness and just go and be there for him? And he's going to have 4 weeks of at least of recovery. He's getting a kidney out. And
I think you're putting an unrealistic expectation on yourself.
I don't know what else to do. I have to go be at that surgery with him.
Why?
Because he doesn't have anyone else.
He's got his boss.
That's what I told him, honestly. But according to him, it's nothing, and he gets angry.
But of course he's going to say that.
Right.
Because addicts lie.
Right.
This affair's nothing.
The
gambling's nothing.
Now, let me just ask you another little clarifying thing. You went on his computer, and you saw that he had gone to some websites and signed up to have sex with people.
Yeah, that was several years ago, and I was on the outside. I didn't know what was going on at the time, and he really was careful about always locking his office. One time he left it open and left the password, and I went for it. I went and while it was open, I went and found it, and I didn't actually see he was signed up, but I saw an email that said that he had lost his password for it, and it was one of those actual, not dating. It was like online sex.
Yeah.
Site.
Okay. All right. So you've been betrayed and abused and yelled at.
And he doesn't believe he's doing anything wrong, and it's all my fault, and won't even take responsibility.
Okay, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Take a deep breath, and I'll ask you a question. All right. What does, in your mind, I've come to a place where I have to accept this and move on. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been going to CODA, accept what I can't change and change what I can. I am trying to surrender and
what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to stay in the house, or you're just going to, or you're going to leave the house? Or what are you going to do? Because
of my situation, I have to probably stay for another 6 months just so I can file bankruptcy so I can go start my new life, because as of right now, I would get my wages garnished if I even try and go get a job. So I'm in a situation I have to stay 6 months, and I'm going to have to just let go.
Okay, well...
I'm accepting that.
Okay, well, a legal separation can protect you from his liabilities, and legal representation can help you defend...
I've been talking to an attorney. I mean, it's all, everything's in my name because it was all my credit and my income to start with.
Okay, see, and so...
name on my house,
So again, this is where you're going to have to, as we told the other caller... you have to find out what your legal rights are, and you have to work in according to the law, because somebody has walked in and has victimized you.
Yes, and I hate saying I'm not a victim, because it makes me mad to hear that. Okay, but yes, I'll say he victimized me, but I won't say I'm a victim, because.
Good.
Well, I don't want to force you to say anything you don't want to say, but he came in and he took control of your life, and
he's destroyed my life and my family and my financial reputation, even my parenting reputation.
That's right. So what are you going to do to extricate yourself from that? And you may have lost everything.
Yeah, I have to. I'm to the point of accepting that, and right now, I was to the point of accepting it. He won't get help. When we go to the counselor, he denies it and acts like a victim.
Okay.
Like I'm like so horrible.
You're never right. So you're realizing you're never going to convince him of anything.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And it sounds like you're trying to come to terms with what is happening and trying to emotionally separate from it.
Right, but I have to live in the house with them, so I've been going round and round about it, and I'm a vacillator pretty much. So he kind of provokes, like pokes at me pretty much, and then I try and diffuse the situation. That's what I talk about Groundhog Day. I always try something different, and then
4 weeks
no matter
of hell.
What, it blows up.
I think 4 weeks of hell are awaiting you when you sign up to be the primary caretaker.
I know this because it happened last time when he had a heart attack. He gave me 3 weeks of hell before I finally, got nasty with them.
So Elizabeth, sometimes when we're in a situation, we can't see our options. And that's where, I know you're calling us, but that's where people who are close to you that know the situation, I think, need to help you see what are the options. Does he really have no one else? How much of that is your responsibility now? Do you really have nowhere else to go?
Right.
To kind of wait out this time.
My main thing is the surgery's at 5 o'clock tomorrow. He has to have someone drive him. He has no friends that I know of, nothing. I mean, he's totally isolated. I mean, he really has been an addict for all these years and put everybody's away, no family, nothing.
Okay, just fantasize with me.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
Just fantasize with me a little bit, all right?
Uh-huh.
Here we go. I want you to fantasize yourself walking up to him in about an hour or so and saying, you've really not given me anything. I'm left with very little. And it seems to me that your boss and you have a closer relationship than we do.
Right.
I'm not going to take you to the hospital in the morning. I think you need to call your boss and ask her to come pick you up and take you. Now just kind of imagine that for a second. What would that be like? What would that feel like? Would you feel proud of yourself for saying it? Would you feel horrible, guilty, shameful? What do you think you'd feel like?
Well, number one, I would probably, unfortunately, I know it's not going to happen, but I would probably feel like the same thing, like all these years. He's made me out to be a total monster because I look like the nuts one because I freak after, it's Groundhog Day, what I mean?
You're very anxious, and so he takes advantage of your anxiety.
Right, and he goes in whenever he can see it. He'll say just the right thing that he knows is going to hurt me because so, of course, that's how I'm going to feel. That I look horrible. I look horrible to anyone else.
What
I
are
look
you?
Like some monster that won't go with their husband.
What are you?
Get his kidney taken out.
What are you doing about your anxiety?
Well, I was fine yesterday because surrendering to God, and I was going to go ahead and get on Wellbutrin, but I want to try to,
Why were you going to? Now, why were you going to get on Wellbutrin?
For my anxiety, because I'm.
Who suggested that? Who suggested Wellbutrin for your anxiety?
I asked my doctor about it, and I haven't taken it. I got the prescription. I don't want to take it.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Well,
I know.
I think you should ask him, if that's what that drug is for, and if there might be something better. You should ask him about it.
Yeah, I have.
Because it sounds like to me at this particular time you need something for the anxiety. Seems like it. I don't know. We'll be back after this.
At New Life, we are passionate about helping people experience recovery. And it's no exception when it comes to recovery from the addiction to drugs or alcohol. We are very grateful to have found what we believe is the premier facility to offer a Christian 12-step model of care. It treats the whole person and offers biblical values as the foundation for treating the mind, body, and spirit. Our partner in drug and alcohol addiction provides exemplary medical and psychiatric care, as well as Christian-based psychotherapy, pastoral counseling, biblical studies and meditation, educational groups, worship and prayer, and a Christian 12-step program. The approach is non-denominational and guides the patient to experience freedom through a renewed relationship with Jesus Christ. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you or someone you love is struggling with drug or alcohol addiction. That's 1-800-639-5433, or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433.
Hi, this is Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries. We know that Christian counseling changes lives. We hear evidence of that every day.
My relationships with my husband, with my friends, with my family are much richer and deeper and honest. Particularly my relationship with God, I see Him in a more accurate form and begin to trust Him more. There's joy and there's peace because I have the internal tools that I can trust. So it's radically changed my life. I'm just not even the same person.
Our nationwide network of licensed Christian counselors means there is help available near you.
Take the leap, jump in, and go for it. It's changed my life completely.
You don't have to be stuck where you are, but you can't really expect to change unless you take action. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It could be the start of a whole new life for you. Christian counseling works, and we can help. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE today. Someone who cares is always there at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
We'd love to hear from you if you have a question or comment. Call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now, back to New Life Live.
Okay, Elizabeth, we've been talking about you at the break here, and
Mylan... I've been taking deep breaths. I'm trying.
Okay, good. Mylan's going to deliver the news.
Okay.
Well, back to your point about Wellbutrin. Wellbutrin is usually used for people with lethargic depressions to help lift them up, but it sounds like your depression has a lot of anxiety associated with it, and that's why I think why Steve was asking about that. So there are others that lift up your serotonin levels, and they help
something like Lexapro.
Yeah, they help to bring down, and they help to bring down the anxiety. They calm.
Right.
Yeah.
So, is that something I'd have to stay on a long time, or at least get me through where I can do what I need to do and come off of it? Or
for at least a few months.
Yeah, a few months might be helpful. But I think, you kind of answered Steve's question, because when he presented to you that fantasy, you said, I can't do that. So I think really what you might have to do is pull yourself up by the bootstraps and give yourself, grace, and tell your husband you're going to give him grace and you're going to be kind to him at a time where he is down, and you're going to take him to the hospital, and you'll have to choose how much you want to see him. But then after he's made his recovery, you are then going to need to execute your plan after he's not at a disadvantaged position. And I think if you realize that I'm going to do this now because it's the right thing to do, but later I have a plan to execute that may give you a peace to say I'm not entrapped here. Mm-hmm. Because I think one of the things that Jill said is she sees this trap that you have.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That I hear that you don't feel like you have a lot of options, and there's different things hinging on different issues. But during this time that you choose to stay with him, I would try to not engage as much as possible in that same old dynamic.
Right.
Remind yourself,
aside, which I was doing.
you are not going to convince him of anything.
Nothing.
And he is going to try to provoke you so that you do feel like the crazy one.
I have another fantasy. Mm-hmm. I'd like you to, this is something you could do.
Okay.
That is, when he starts to provoke you, you don't engage like Jill has said, and you simply turn around and walk out of the room for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Even 5 minutes would make a difference.
Even 5 would make a difference.
Okay.
Because
we'll go with the 5-minute fantasy.
Yeah.
But pretty soon
and
after,
don't try and reason with them and say
no.
That's where it blows up.
No.
I understand that
and
now.
so it doesn't help. And then if you disengage and walk away, after about a week of that, he learns, ooh, I better not.
Well, first he'll try harder to engage you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But eventually
He'll say,
he'll
ooh,
stop.
she's not
so you
here.
even leave the house and go walk around the block. Because it will help you to disengage. Because when he fires something at you, you automatically are going to want to come back.
Right, and he's really passive-aggressive about it, too.
Oh,
it's always just underhand. It just,
I'm going to send you John Townsend's book, Who's Pushing Your Buttons, because it sounds like that he pushes every one of yours, and maybe that will be of help to you. And I'm so sorry for what you're going through, and we hope that the kidney surgery goes well.
Fast.
Yes.
Well, and Jill, to your point, when people do stop themselves and they back up and they walk, they breathe, they take a break, they regulate.
Well, it gives their brain a chance to kind of recalibrate.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think
instead of being in that survival mode and being really impulsive.
And we know that from neuroscience.
Yeah.
So what Jill is saying is backed up by neuroscience. It's not just an idea, go take a walk. It's backed up by the fact that the brain will equalize and you'll stop emotionally flooding, and you can get your cognition back up online, and your language and your ability to think through a situation
make a choice.
will come back up online. Yeah, so
Okay.